Stella Mawson's body has been found hanging in the chapel where Domenica and Lorimer used to meet to make love.
Why did you say he was Lorimer's car?
Conscience. I didn't want to betray him anymore.
I don't believe you. I didn't then, I don't now.
It's true.
Who else do you meet here? Who else have you given a key to?
No one.
Dalgleish has told Angela that Stella was once married to Lorimer.
Did she tell you who killed Dr. Lorimer?
Well, she said she knew who it was, but she wouldn't say any more.
What did she say, whether it was male or female?
No. You think she went to blackmail the murderer, don't you? Well, she wouldn't. See, she wasn't like that. Only a fool would walk into that kind of danger, and Stella wasn't a fool. You said so yourself. She wouldn't voluntarily have gone alone at night to meet a killer, not for any money. I know we needed the money for the mortgage, but she wouldn't. She couldn't. No. And no sane person would.
Not even if the killer were a woman?
No. I'll never see her again. She'll never speak to me. Not to anyone. She'll never write another word. I don't believe it yet. But I know it mustn't be true, otherwise you wouldn't be here. But I still don't believe. How shall I bear it when I do?
Mr. Bradley. Well, you want to add to your statement?
Yes. It's important. I've realized that the murderer was still in the lab when I went back to Lorimer. Just as I got to the door, I heard a sound. Well, I forgot all about it until this morning. I was coming down to breakfast and I heard a pinging noise. Sue had just finished making a telephone call. Well, that was the noise I heard in the lab. It was the murderer putting down the telephone. You have to believe me.
In my opinion, and it's no more than that, the two at the top are male, come from the same head. And the one below is different. See for yourself. To prove anything, I should need more samples.
That was all the hairs on the cushion. Well, they certainly look different.
The one below could be female. Inspector Massingham, forgive me asking, but did Miss Mawson kill herself?
That's one of two possibilities, yes.
Oh, Lord. We're all going to have to make statements again?
If the case doesn't break soon, yes.
You and your chief aren't doing too well, are you?
We'll get there, Miss Easterbrook. We'll get there.
Are you quite sure you're going to be all right, Miss?
Yes, I'm quite sure. Thank you.
You will get in touch with me if you need.
Yes, I will.
Look after yourself.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Hello? My name is Angela Foley. I have some important information. This is important for you. No, I'll tell you when you get here. Now, don't keep interrupting me, just come. I shall be here. The address is...
Morning, Inspector. Morning. Found my white coat yet? No. Oh, pretty vital, I should have thought.
Thank you. Yes.
Clarice Brooks says she'll need more samples before she can prove anything.
Well, that won't be necessary. Come on. I've now got concrete evidence that there was someone else in this building besides Mr. Bradley when Lorimer was killed.
I see.
And that person is the murderer. Furthermore, it narrows the suspects down to 2 people.
You're not suggesting, surely, that I was involved in Lorimer's death?
Why not? You've got both the motive and the means to do it. As director, you've got all the necessary keys to the building and to the chapel as well. You dislike Lorimer, and you were jealous of his affair with your sister.
You always try to solve your cases by guesswork.
What I am accusing you of is lying. Not directly, but by omission. In order to protect your sister.
Chief Superintendent, I've been at your service
Please, will
now
you let me
for
finish?
2 days.
You deliberately withheld critical information that your sister was having an affair with Lorimer.
I didn't consider that relevant.
No?
No.
You also knew she'd recently rejected him? If you told me earlier Stella Mawson might still be alive. Who is Domenica's lover now?
Yeah, I don't know. We never discuss such matters.
Who is he?
I told you I don't know.
You realise you've obstructed us in the course of our duties. You still are obstructing us.
I'll risk that.
Yes, you can probably afford a good lawyer.
John, this isn't achieving anything. Dr. Howard, when did you first suspect your sister?
I didn't. I don't suspect her of anything.
I could find your attitude understandable if it had only been Dr. Lorimer that had been killed. But Stella Mawson's death must have changed everything. Well, as a professional, I mean, you would know in court your sister's alibi would not stand up to cross-examination. Dr. Howard, this will mean the end of your career. And the publicity will give the government the excuse they need to close this establishment. And you risk all this just to protect your sister?
Yes! I don't apologize for that. Yes, of course, Domenica and I were close. Of course we were. I was instructed by my father to look after her. When I was 8 years old, she was 3. That's all he had to say to me 10 minutes after her mother died. And I have looked after her ever since. And I shall continue to do so. He certainly took no further interest. Staying in Italy with his grief and his cold hands and his collection of trivia. All we knew was a succession of nannies and then housekeepers and then boarding schools. By a process of elimination of affection, we became everything to each other. And that's why we...
I'm not interested in her past at the moment.
Oh, really? Yes, I do so agree. Never apologise, never explain.
Who's her lover now? And that's your last word.
Read it. Read it.
No, love, you're too head up.
You killed her because of that, didn't you?
Killed who?
Don't pretend you don't know.
You're way ahead of me, love. You really are.
You should know. You're in the CID.
Resigned yesterday.
What?
My governor doesn't agree. He says I'm suspended from duties pending an official inquiry. But, a cup of tea. I'll make it. Have a little chat.
Stay where you are.
Look, love.
Would you call me that?
Why don't you tell me what you think I've done, and I'll put you straight. I reckon you've got things all in a mix.
Read the note.
All right. Who'd you get this from?
Edwin Lorimer's desk. Stella took it and she gave it to me, and you killed her because she knew. And last night she went out to blackmail you, and you strangled her.
Blackmail? Are you saying your friend thought I'd kill Lorimer?
I'm not saying anything.
And you think I killed her because of this? This poison pen job? I may have mislaid the odd bunch of cannabis, love. Sorry. I'm not to call you that, am I? But no. I might be rough, but not blackmail. So, Lorimer got tipped off, so it may yet all come out. I don't mind. They can't pin more than carelessness on me. I'm going into antiques. You've got some nice pieces here, as a matter of fact.
Shut up!
Like I said, you worked up. What was the idea? Self-protection? Revenge? A bit of both. Look, I didn't even know Miss Mawson was dead, did I? And if she died any time between 2 o'clock and 7:45 yesterday afternoon, I'm in the clear. Best alibi in the world. I was in the nick the whole time. Guys Marsh. You ring them and ask.
What about that note?
Nasty but true. What surprises me is that Lorimer didn't act on it. Maybe he meant to, but got overtaken by events, as they say.
You admit it, then?
I admit to carelessness, that's all. The joke being that they got to me on account of a wrong hunch by Inspector Massingham. But there you are. Swings and roundabouts. I'd love a drop of whiskey. I've got beyond tea. Look, why don't you put that little knife down? It wouldn't peel a potato, let alone me.
It's whiskey.
There. You've been very upset. If you ask me, you shouldn't have been left on your own.
I told the nurse I'd be all right.
You weren't.
I thought I was. Sorry.
There.
I'm so certain.
Where's the whiskey? Where? Like to knit while she worked, did she?
No! I don't drink whiskey.
It's an emergency. Do you good. Just a little one. Medicinal. Come on.
If you didn't murder Star, who did?
Same person who killed Lorimer, I'd say. That man was a pain. I suppose he had his point of view, but I never saw it. Yes, and a couple of murderers loose in one small community is too much of a coincidence. But look, you better tell the police about this note. It can't hurt me, not now, but it can help them.
I don't see how. If you've told me the truth, then it's irrelevant.
Not quite. If your friend found one incriminating piece of evidence on Lorimer's desk, she may have found another. One thing leads to another often in police work. She didn't use that note, she left it with you. So it could be she had other information she intended to use, do you see? So you better ring Dalgleish.
You ring him.
What? Eat humble pie? Okay. What the hell? You know, one day these old-fashioned phones are going to fetch a fortune.
He must know who our current lover is.
So do I, but I still need proof. What's left in that book of yours, John?
Brenda Pribmore's bike.
Ah, well, that was just a piece of spite.
You mean someone envied her legacy?
Yes.
And the woman at the bus stop? There's Lorimer's inquest at 2 o'clock. You hadn't forgotten?
No. Only 11:15, we've still got time.
stay near the gate.
I didn't have a chance.
I think so. He's just frightened.
I asked Mrs. Willard to keep an eye on him. She's useless. I was washing my hair. Daddy's at the morgue, you see. He said he'd take William and I to lunch when he got back from Cambridge. We were going to buy a new bed for William.
What's happened?
There's been an accident, Miss Willard.
What?
He chased his ball into the road. He was nearly run over.
I told him never to go near that gate. Told me to call the doctor. Did the car actually hit him?
No, it just caught him, knocked him into the grass.
He could have been killed.
No, it's just shock. Come on, William.
I made it perfectly clear to him.
Come on. That's a good boy. That's a good boy.
Where's my boy?
Oh, he's all right. He's all right after all. Still, I think I ought to call Dr. Garrison.
You Kiwi?
You can pack your bags and get out. You're dismissed. I only asked you to watch William while I washed my hair. You couldn't even do that. He might have been killed. You're a lazy, ugly, stupid old woman. You drink and you smell and we all hate you. So you go. Pack your horrible things and go. We don't need you as a housekeeper. I can look after William and Daddy. He doesn't need anyone but me. Just go. Get out of here. Go.
You? Do you think he needs you? Well, I may be middle-aged and past my best, but at least I'm not half mad. And if you think I'm ugly, you should look at yourself. Your father only puts up with you because of William. You want to be in a home, and he'd be glad if you were. It's William that he loves, not you, and he told me so himself. You're going to go to your mother. Oh, you didn't know that, did you? And here's something else you didn't know either. What do you think your precious daddy gets up to once he's drugged you to sleep? Well, he sneaks off to the chapel and he makes love to her.
You're lying. It isn't true. You're lying. It's not true. It isn't true, is it? She's lying.
Yes, it's true.
I thought he did it for me. Because he loves me.
No, look, it's
No
not quite what it
way.
seems now. No, come on, now.
No way. I wasn't asleep when he came back. I didn't drink the cocoa he made me. I went out and watched him burn the coat on the bonfire. I knew there was blood on it. I thought he'd been deceived on Lorimer because he'd been unkind to William and me. I thought he did it for me because he loves me. Daddy, Daddy.
Is that why you kept the buttons?
You can have them.
Thank you.
You have them.
God, what a filthy trade.
John, look after them, will you? I'll get on to Guy's Marsh. Where's the phone, please? Thank you.
It's not a trade, it's a job. Are you saying it's one you don't want done? Come on, kids. Come on, William. Mel, come on. Come on, Donny, it'll be all right. You show me your comics are, William.
Hello, Dalgleish here. Yes, I'm at the old rectory. I'm at the WPC and Constable Cox immediately, okay? Yes. Good.
What you said? You destroyed that child.
You can't always do police work without giving pain.
I didn't mean it. She made me say it. I didn't mean it. I didn't want to hurt Dr. Kerrison.
You did mean it, Miss Willard.
If you want me, I'll be at Hoggett's.
Right, I'll need a written statement from you.
Oh, yes. All the human muddle, despair, hurt, longing, neatly documented on official paper.
No, just the facts. Miss Howard! Miss Howard, why did you come here today? Did Dr. Kerrison phone you to say meet here rather than at the chapel?
Are you trying to make me an accomplice? I told you that neither...
Oh, just bloody answer, will you?
Neither of them phoned me. Well, Lorimer did once, but he broke our agreement, and that's when it was all over anyway. But no, Kerrison never phoned. We weren't, what's your expression, in this together? Well, I suspected him, of course I did, but I didn't know. I'm not responsible. It wasn't because of me.
No, I don't suppose it was.
Why do you dislike me?
In the eyes of the law, you may be innocent.
It's all my fault, isn't it?
Not completely, no. You did used to phone Dr. Lorimer, though, didn't you? To tell him about the chapel, about the candles, the number on the hymn board,
Yes. He used to drive me to church every Sunday. He was always so silent. I used to chatter on. I'm a terrible chatterer, you see. Only I was awfully worried about the altar candles. I really was.
Why?
Well, I first noticed that they were lit from the outside when I passed the chapel in June. I know that it's disused now, but it's still a holy place, and it's so secluded I thought I should keep an eye on it. Well, to help the Lord. He does have rather a lot on his plate at the moment, doesn't he? So, I popped back again. Oh, a month later. And the candles were lit again. So I mentioned it to Dr. Lorimer the next Sunday. And he lent me the key. I thought it might be devil worshippers, you see. There's an awful lot of cranks around here. Anyway, Dr. Lorimer asked me to keep an eye on the hymn board, too.
To see if the numbers had changed.
You seem to know everything, Chief Superintendent.
Not quite.
Well, the numbers did keep changing, you see. Only it wasn't devil worshippers. It was that woman. She arrived first that time. Oh, she came just at the right time. 1915 was on the board on that occasion, and then Dr. Kerrison arrived, and he let himself in. When I mentioned it to Dr. Lorimer, he was terribly upset. But he said he was glad that I had seen them because I could be a witness, and how worried he was about the children, especially William. It was quite right to be worried, too. A woman like that. Quite unsuitable to be a stepmother to William. One man after another. Well, that's what Dr. Lorimer said. Oh, it didn't matter who he said. He knew all about her. Well, the whole lab knew, he said. She'd even made advances to him once. Horrible. He said he would write to Mrs. Carrison and tell her all about it. She had run away with the doctor. But he knew what his name was, and he said he would look up his address in the medical directory.
So that's what he was doing on the ground floor when Bradley arrived. He'd come down to the library, found the address, and wrote it in his notebook. So that's why Kerrison tore out the pages.
What will you do to him? What will happen to him?
When I asked you where you were on the night of the murder, you told me you were here. And you said you could prove it, didn't you? Because you'd overheard Dr. Kerrison on the phone. Is that right? Did he ask you to lie for him?
Lie for him?
Hmm? Oh, he did make a phone call, but it wasn't from here. It was from the laboratory. He just pretended it was from here. And he used you. Well, you do understand, I mean, he used you to confirm his alibi.
He only asked me if I'd heard him on the telephone. That was the next morning, after he'd been called to the body. Well, I thought that I had heard the telephone. You know how they ping when you lift the receiver up and put them down again? Well, I actually thought I had heard it. It wasn't really a lie. It was just... I thought I had heard it. And I wanted to help him. He was so good, kind. Am I an accessory?
Yes, of course. I'll need a statement from you later.
Will I have to go to court?
Yes. Good. Thank you, Cox. What's your name?
Leslie.
Good. Look, now what I want you to do is, in there are the two children.
He says, Doctor, I feel like a pair of curtains. He says, don't be silly, pull yourself together. He says, Doctor, I feel like a bucket. He says, yes, you do look a little pale. And the salesman says, this little gadget will cut your housework in half. Mum says, in that case, I'll take two.
Right, John.
So,
Let's go.
Gotta go.
Don't go.
I've gotta go. Bye-bye. He's a nice lad.
It's the girl I'm worried about. We better get in touch with her mother.
Sir.
You should have finished by now.
Did you know last night?
Yes, but I didn't have proof.
But you have now.
From your daughter.
Hell. I kept thinking when I was doing the post-mortem.
Caution, John.
Oh, all sorts of things, like I could suppress the
Dr.
evidence.
Harrison, I must caution you. You're not obliged to say anything unless you wish to do so. Or anything you do say will be taken down in writing and maybe given in evidence.
I want to tell you all about it. But I don't want to go to Guy's Marsh, not yet. Won't be any trouble. I'll make a full confession. But first, can I talk to you? Just you and nobody else. But whatever happens, I don't want Nell to have to give evidence. Can you promise me that?
You know I can't, Dr. Kerrison. There's no reason, of course, for the Crown to call her if you plead guilty.
I shall. I am, aren't I?
Get changed, will you? John.
Just give us a couple of minutes, would you please? Excuse me, is this the back layout? Yes. Bring the rest of his clothes, John.
I'd rather stay outside. I suffer from mild claustrophobia. To make a prison cell unpleasant enough, especially if I'm going to have to share it with others.
I see. Well, we could talk over there.
Thank you.
Just a second. John, get on to Guy's Marsh. They will be in soon. Yes. And,
Sir.
If it had just been Lorimer, I might have hoped the manslaughter as a verdict. His death wasn't premeditated, but the other was murder.
Do you want to tell me why?
4 days ago, I was giving a lecture at Hoggett's. I ran into Lorimer. He told me to meet him in the laboratory at 8:30 that evening. He didn't ask, he just told me.
What did he say? Why?
Yes. He wanted to talk about Domenica.
Ah. Did you know he was her lover before you?
Not until I met him that evening. She'd never mentioned his name once. He stood there pouring out this stream of hate, envy, jealousy. Then, of course, I knew. I didn't ask how he found out about me.
He used your housekeeper to spy on you.
Miss Willard? I should never have taken her on. But after Anne left me, she was all I could get. Nell hates her.
And Lorimer threatened to write to your wife to prevent you getting custody of the children unless you gave Domenica up.
He was going to write anyway. I think he'd been driven mad. Perhaps we were both mad. He wanted her back.
And he believed that was possible?
And he wanted to punish me. I've only once before known such hatred. He stood there in the biology room, white-faced, shouting at me, saying that I'd lose the children, that I wasn't fit to be their father, I'd never see them again. And suddenly it wasn't Lorimer speaking. I'd heard it all before, you see, from my wife. It was his voice, but her words. I just couldn't take it anymore. There was a terrible row with Nell that afternoon. He'd ordered her and William out of the reception at Hoggart's. I'd been worrying all day what he was going to say to me.
Was that when the telephone rang?
Yes, it was his father complaining about the television.
What did you pick up the mallet with?
Lorimer's gloves. They were just by it. The phone call seemed to sober him up. He said he had nothing more to add. And he turned his back on me so dismissively. I picked the mallet up with the gloves, and I hit him. He fell without a sound. I put the mallet back, and I noticed his notebook was open, and Dr. Fitch's name and address were written on it. My wife lives with Fitch. But then I did calculate. I put the gloves on properly, and I tore that page out, and the 8 underneath it, because they wouldn't have been blank to a spectroscope, you see. And I went to the telephone and called the hospital, pretending that I was at home.
Clifford Bradley heard you put the phone down. Unfortunately, he only remembered hearing it this morning.
What do you mean that Bradley was there? In the building?
Oh. He went there to protest about his annual report. Lorimer tore him apart, and he went to the washroom to be sick. That was when Lorimer let you in.
You mean that I could literally have bumped into Bradley?
Yes. After you killed Lorimer, you went down to the front door.
Yes, I saw the headlights of a car swinging into the drive, and I knew I couldn't get out that way.
So you went up and got the keys off the body, then went downstairs, reset the alarm, locked the front door.
Yes.
And then you went and put the keys back on the body.
No, I panicked.
Oh. But you put on Middlemass's coat and you climbed out of the washroom window.
Well, I couldn't risk dragging my own clothes against the drain pipe or the stonework. Luckily, I hadn't brought my car, so I took the shortcut back across the fields. It's quicker than by the road. When I got home, I burned the coat, notebook pages, and the gloves on the bonfire.
And you put the keys back on the body the next morning when you examined it?
Yes.
And Stella Mawson?
That's more difficult. I can sort of justify Lorimer to myself. I didn't mean to do it, but I did, and in a way he deserved it.
She arranged to meet you, huh?
She phoned me at the hospital. She said she had a draft letter she wanted to discuss with me, that she'd found in a certain desk. I knew what it would say. I've still got it. I was going to burn it, but I didn't. Maybe I wanted to be found out.
Yes. But how could you be sure after you killed her that there wasn't a copy?
Because it wasn't like that. She didn't want to sell me the letter or anything. If Lorimer had sent that, my wife would have got custody of the children.
What did Miss Mawson want?
A loan.
For £5,500 for the cottage?
Yes. She was the gentlest of blackmailers. A loan spread over 5 years at a rate of interest she could afford. It seemed that she hated Lorimer too, said he'd caused enough misery in his life, and she didn't see why she'd cause more after his death.
She was once married to him.
Oh, I see. That's why she said she'd been his victim too, didn't see why I should be one now.
Couldn't you lend her the money?
No, I'm always at the limit of my facility, as the bank says. But she wouldn't believe me.
Did you have the cord ready?
No, but I knew where it was. It was in the chest. Finally, I said to her that I'd have a proper agreement drawn up with my solicitor, even though I knew that it was impossible. And then she did a very strange thing. She went and got a Bible. And that's when I put the cord in my pocket, just in case.
So that's what the Bible was doing on the font. She wanted you to swear on it, I see.
Yes. Never to tell what had happened between us. She was terrified that Angela Foley would find out. And that's when I realized that nobody else knew, and that she was the only one who had this dangerous knowledge. And that she had to die. I swore never to tell a soul. And I killed her. It was terrible.
Shall we go?
Well, I haven't explained to you yet. Do you have children? I couldn't take a chance on Stella Mawson. I'm not trying to justify myself, just explain to you. I couldn't give my wife such a weapon against me. She's attractive and plausible, outwardly sane when she chooses to control herself, but that's what makes it so impossible. Madness isn't difficult to diagnose, but neurosis. It's less dramatic, but just as lethal if you have to live with it. I couldn't let her have William and Nell. It was my children's lives against Stella Mawson's. So I tried to make it look like suicide. I knew I'd be doing the post-mortem. Domenica obsessed me as she did Lorimer. She didn't love me, I knew that. But she gave me what she could, and it was enough for me. It was such peace. She's peaceful too, an end of responsibility, no more worries. Nothing more to do.